decided this week to scrap their voting machines, like the one stored here in Dublin. They're selling them for scrap metal because they found that they were too unreliable and too easy to hack. They'd only used them once back in 2002. That was enough. Unfortunately, America hasn't learned as quickly as the Irish. It used to be in America that exit polls were the gold standard to determine if there were shenanigans in an election. For over a century we used them, and we got very, very good at it. They almost never deviated by more than a few tenths of a percentage from the actual electoral outcome, and when they did, it was a sure sign of fraud. Such a sure sign that exit polls were used successfully to expose and then overturn fraudulent elections in places like Ukraine, Serbia, and Georgia. Polling companies were really good at this, and they had great success here in the United States in the election of 1998, when voting machines only recorded 7% of the national vote. But in the elections of 2000 and 2002, something odd began to happen right after the Bush presidency began. It was called redshift, because in certain states where there were a lot of voting machines being used, Republican candidates did better in the vote the machines reported than in the exit polls. In the election of 2004, New York, Pennsylvania, Florida, and Ohio led the charge with a redshift toward George W. Bush of 276,000 votes in New York, 228,000 votes in Florida, 190,000 in Pennsylvania, 160,000 in Ohio. You can see these are those four states, and it continues on down through here. So you can see this is the red shift, and then there was some blue shift into California and Texas. Interesting. But this was just the beginning of the voting machines. It started 2 years earlier. This is the 2004 election. In 2002, when voting machines began to appear everywhere across America because George W. Bush had signed into effect a law called the Help America Vote Act, or HAVA. It gave billions of dollars to the states so that they could buy these machines from private corporations like Diebold and ES&S. It was the high water point of the privatization of our vote. For 2 centuries, our vote was counted by volunteers and government workers overseen by representatives of the political parties. That all changed in 2000 and 2004. Now, over 90% of our vote is recorded or counted in secret on corporate machines. And those corporations tell us who won our elections. Why is it secret? Well, because the voting machine companies say they have copyright and trademark rights to keep their software and hardware secret from us. And so that red shift has continued, and in some cases accelerated in every election since 2002 to this day. Expect to see it this November if any of the exit polling companies will release their raw data, something that most stopped doing when their numbers went totally screwy in 2004, particularly in Ohio. Back in 2004, Tina Brown had a TV show called Topic A with Tina Brown on CNBC. And one day, she was off, and Howard Dean filled in for her. Dean had Bev Harris of BlackBoxVoting.org on the show, and together, they showed how easy it was to rig an election.
This is the official program that the county supervisor sees. As we can see here, Howard Dean has 1,000 votes, and Lex Luthor has 500, so you're beating Lex Luthor. You see we have 800 votes here for you and 400 for Lex Luthor. Let's just flip those. We'll make that 400, and we'll give 100 votes to Tiger. Let's just see what happened here. We'll go back into GEMS the legitimate way, and as you can see now, Howard Dean only has 500 votes. Lex Luthor has 900, and Tiger Woods has 100 votes. We just edited an election. It took us 90 seconds.
It took only 90 seconds to change the outcome of an election on a Diebold machine. A few months later, on March 7th of 2005, John Kerry's wife, Teresa Heinz Kerry, told a group of Seattle guests at a March 7th, 2005 lunch for Representative Adam Smith, according to reporter Joel Connolly in an article in the Seattle Post-Intelligencer, 2 brothers own 80% of the voting machines used in the United States. Connolly said that Heinz Kerry added that it is very easy to hack into the mother machines, which is what you just saw Howard Dean and Bev Harris do. Canada experimented with voting machines and dumped them, as did the Netherlands. This week it's Ireland. We should follow suit. It's not just that any technology, particularly a secret proprietary technology, is vulnerable to hackers. mean, it's true, but far more important is the concept of our commons. We created government in the United States to administer our commons, the things we all own in common. Our roads, parks, our police and fire stations, our army, our libraries, our public schools. And of course, government itself, because it administers all those commons, government itself is the ultimate commons. And the way that you and I tell our government how to behave is through our vote. So the linchpin of our republic is our vote. It's the most crucial of the commons, of the things that let us do everything else. And without any public debate or discussion, George W. Bush turned that most important part of the commons, that beating heart of democracy, the vote, turned it over to fewer than a half dozen very secretive and Republican Party-connected corporations. This is insane. We need to learn from Ireland's experience and